The topic of sexuality in relationships is often considered sensitive, but it is essential to approach it with responsibility and clarity. In many households, discussions about sex are scarce, which can lead to misunderstandings and even suffering in relationships. When talking about sex, especially in the Christian context, it is important to recognize that this aspect of married life should follow principles that reflect love and commitment. Sex is a divine gift, meant to unite a man and a woman in a covenant that promotes intimacy. It is not just about procreation. Pleasure is a significant part of this experience. When the Bible mentions that the two become one flesh, it emphasizes the depth of connection that should exist between partners. The sexual act is an expression of love that goes beyond the physical, involving emotionality and vulnerability. In a world where sexuality is widely explored and often distorted, it is vital for families to discuss the subject openly and educationally. Silence can leave young people feeling confused or misinformed, creating space for external influences, such as pornography, which can negatively affect their perceptions of sex and relationships. When discussing sexuality, it is important to address practices like oral and anal sex, always understanding that any act should be consensual and respect each person's boundaries. Oral sex, for instance, can be seen as a form of pleasure that, within marriage, is acceptable as long as both partners are comfortable. The Bible emphasizes the importance of spouses delighting in one another, which can include various forms of intimacy. On the other hand, anal sex raises questions of health and safety. Many believe it can cause discomfort or even health issues. Therefore, this practice should be approached with care and, above all, with respect for the partner's preferences and limits. The most important thing is that both spouses feel safe and loved in their choices. The sexual act is an expression of love that should be conducted with consideration and mutual respect. It is crucial for each partner to seek to satisfy the other's needs rather than focus solely on themselves. A healthy relationship is built on communication, where both can openly discuss their desires and limits. This not only strengthens emotional connection but also enhances the sexual life. A lack of intimacy can lead to distances between partners. Often, couples become just friends, setting aside the passion and affection that should be present. Sex is an essential part of the relationship, and when ignored, it can create a difficult-to-fill void. The Bible warns of the dangers of letting the relationship cool, suggesting that a lack of love and affection can lead to external temptations. Sexuality should be approached with sensitivity and understanding. The passage in 1 Corinthians 7 reminds us that each person's body does not belong solely to themselves, but also to their spouse. This implies that both have the responsibility to care for each other's needs, creating an environment of support and love. A successful relationship requires effort from both parties to ensure that both feel valued and satisfied. When discussing sex, it is vital for couples to remember God's purpose for intimacy. True love manifests in the desire to make the other happy. This means seeking mutual satisfaction and not succumbing to the temptation to find fulfillment outside the relationship. The commitment of marriage should be preserved and nurtured with love, care, and respect. Finally, cultivating intimacy is an important step in strengthening marriage. Sexuality is a natural and beautiful part of this commitment, as long as it is lived in a healthy and respectful way. Each couple should seek to understand what works for them by openly discussing their preferences and desires. The pursuit of mutual happiness is the ideal that God desires for all relationships, and it is in this path that love becomes even deeper.